Hi, Nick here. I had some outdoor plans today, but it's raining. So instead what I'm going to do is a video about the Uni-Tune clip-on tuner from TC Electronic. Most of you know that I've been a fan of TC Electronic's Polytune Clip clip-on tuner for a while now. I did a separate review a couple of years ago where I talked about how the Polytune Clip does very well with alternate and open tunings on acoustic guitar. The Polytune Clip is a nicely made tuner that latches onto notes quickly, has good tracking as you bring the notes into tune, and it also does well with the very low notes that we sometimes tune our 6 strings to, which other clip-on tuners can have trouble with. While the Polytune mode is great for those who spend a lot of time in standard tuning, these days on acoustic guitar I find myself spending most of my time in alternate and open tunings. The Polytune Clip's chromatic mode does work very well, and it's not a huge problem, but on occasion it does toggle back and forth between the Polytune mode and the chromatic mode, even when you're not trying to use the Polytune mode. If you're just tuning one string at a time, sometimes if another string hasn't been muted, it'll ring out by mistake and it'll toggle back and forth between the Polytune and the chromatic mode. Overall, the Polytune Clip is such a great tuner that this occasional toggling back and forth between Polytune and chromatic mode when you're trying to use chromatic mode is not really a big problem. Recently, I learned that TC Electronic had partnered with music retailer Sweetwater to create the UniTune clip-on tuner. Basically, the UniTune clip-on tuner is the same in every respect as the Polytune Clip, except it doesn't feature the Polytune mode. And it's also about $15 less expensive than the Polytune Clip. As with the Polytune Clip, I've found that TC Electronics' UniTune Clip clip-on tuner latches onto notes quickly and accurately. It has great tracking, where you can see the bar move into tune as you gradually turn the tuning peg. And it also picks up those low bass notes on the 6th string equally well as compared with the Polytune Clip. So the Polytune Clip is a great tuner, but if you use mostly open or altered tunings, or you can otherwise live without the Polytune function and you want to save a little money, the UniTune Clip clip-on tuner from TC Electronic is a great alternative. Let me switch camera angles here and I'll give you a side-by-side comparison so you can see just how similar they are. Okay, so I have a quick non-scientific comparison here between the two versions of TC Electronics clip-on tuner. On the top is the Polytune Clip, which features Polytune mode. On the bottom is the UniTune Clip, which is almost identical except it doesn't have Polytune. So both of these tuners do feature a chromatic mode, and right now I have my acoustic tuned to open G, and as you can see, the Polytune mode will try to read out when you're in an open tuning, but it doesn't really work because it's only calibrated for standard tuning. So if I just go through quickly and pick these strings one at a time, you can see that both of them do work pretty well in chromatic mode. Actually, the Uni-Tune, I think because is it fully clipped on here? There we go. Was getting some different readings there, but they're almost identical in the way that they work. They both work very well for alternate tunings. And let's see, the bass string, we'll tune it down to B flat, which reads as A sharp. And as you can see, the Uni-Tune is actually latching onto it a little bit better, and the Polytune Clip is a little befuddled, but I know from experience both of them do pick up the low notes well. Not sure why this one's acting up. But anyway, if you do use a lot of alternate tunings, you can see that the, tune it back up to D here, that the Uni-Tune Clip really has the advantage in that it's not going to toggle back and forth. Both of them have good tracking. See how it's kind of gradually going in there? Sometimes one of them will turn off. Okay. I I think because they're next to each other, they get nervous. But anyway, you can see that both of them have good tracking. It's tracking that G on the 5th string as I tune it up there. So really, they have very similar performance, except the Polytune version will sometimes toggle back and forth between Polytune mode when you don't want it to. Most of the time, though, when you're trying to use chromatic mode, the notes will read out clearly. Anyway, I thought this might be a great unscientific comparison between the two models. So as you can see from that comparison, these two clip-on tuners are almost identical, except for one lacks the Polytune function. I hope you've enjoyed this video about TC Electronics' Uni-Tune clip-on tuner. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.